life and go out and be the best that I could be at this thing that I loved far before I had children. This thing that I loved far before I had a wife. This thing that is honestly given me and my family all that we have. The Tagovailoas have made football their family business. Mm-hmm. The Tagovailoas moved to Alabama. They now live in Miami. This is something that they do together. Mm-hmm. And so together they're going to have to figure out is right now in the present and what we want and what we're presented with, is that more pressing, more important, more vital to who we are than something we don't know? At least it won't affect you the way it did last time because you don't have those organs. So I convinced myself that if I put the right things around me, I could be okay after that day. What you're telling Tua Tagovailoa is we think this will affect you this way, but we don't know. But what he does know is that he loves this game. What he does know is that he has money on the line. And when you watch the way this man has progressed through his career, the confidence he plays with now, the confidence he has within himself, it's going to be incredibly hard for him to walk away. And we just don't we don't have the right, we are not entitled to tell him that he shouldn't play.
Sure.
All you can do is give him all the information he's supposed to get, let him have every conversation he's supposed to have with his family, and then let him make his decision. And yes, it's scary. We all saw it. When he was running up to Damar Hamlin, I was scared. Hell, it's the most scared I've ever been on a play because Tua Tagovailoa, who we know is susceptible to concussions, puts his helmet in the chest of Damar Hamlin, who we watch die on the field.
Yes.
That's football. And what we do is when you tell us we can't do something.
It is interesting. Damar was a part of the play as well.
It is about us proving that we can.
Really quick, Al, before you jump in, obviously I want to hear from you. Ryan, when you were in that situation and you were faced with potentially walking away, were you even open to hearing that at all?
Yeah, you're open to hearing it, but just because I hear it don't mean I'm listening.
Got it.
But did the Steelers protect you from yourself?
Yes.
Right. So I did think it was interesting that Damar was involved in that because apart from us literally watching that man die on the field, 2022 and watching what Tua went through was some of the most unsettling things that I've watched in my entire life, 30 years of watching football. Stephen A. mentioned the 4 diagnosed concussions, but I'm glad we ran that full screen because there was, of course, the not concussion that prompted an investigation against the Bills that sort of started off that 2022 run. So you're talking about a guy who time and time again has shown he is concussion prone. And the worst part is, RC, is that wasn't even a bad hit.
Yep.
And everyone's screaming, how can you be stupid, Tua? You've got to slide. This man went to jiu-jitsu and he gained weight and he learned how to fall and he did all of these things. And we thought, okay, we breathed a little easier after last year when he played every single game and he was okay. You cannot, as a football player, this man's fighting for yards. He doesn't know that he got the yards that he needed on that 4th down play. That same kind of play endears you to your locker room. Yeah. Look at our quarterback gritting it out. It wasn't that bad looking, and he still ended up in that horrific fencing posture that we saw in 2022. I would not be audacious enough, to your point, to tell Tua Tagovailoa that he needs to sit it out. But I think that he should, because I hope he understands that he has a lot more to offer this world than just football. And to the money part of it, when he signed that deal, he got $45 million up front, and they guaranteed essentially his salary for the 2024 and 2025 season, meaning if he doesn't play anymore, he still walks away with $93 million on top of the money that he already made in his first rookie deal. That is still life-changing type of money.
Absolutely. That's generational wealth.
That is generational money. And I get it, RC, because you're right. The Tagovailoa it has always been the goal. It's not going to be for Talia. It's really all on Tua. This is a kid who admitted to College Game Day a few years ago that his dad would hit him if he threw interceptions, that he would beat him with a belt. I understand how difficult this decision must be. But oh my goodness, I feel complicit in watching this and rooting for this guy to keep coming back out there and doing this to himself. It's tough to watch.
There's no price on your mind.
You're absolutely right, Molly. There is no price, but the reality is, ladies, RC, is that the NFL players, this is typical. Their attitude is they're putting their lives on the line every time they step out on the field. This is just the latest example. This is just the latest challenge. Think about the concussions that Troy Aikman suffered. Think about how unknown the impact of concussions was having on football players. Think about the level of knowledge that we've gained throughout the years because of CTE, because of lawsuits against the National Football League, for crying out loud, because of some of the things that we've been discussing ad nauseum about concussions. And it hasn't dissuaded people from playing one bit. It hasn't. And that's why I think it's so important that RC is here with us discussing this subject, because we all know from an informational perspective, in terms of what we've gathered, what the likely right decision is to make. But we have to concede that we don't have a right to make it for him. He has that right, because NFL players go out on that field every week and they make these decisions, not just on behalf of themselves, but on behalf of their teammates, on behalf of their franchise, on behalf of the Shield itself. This is what they want to do. This is what they signed up for. You've got parents out there that have just tried to dissuade their children from playing football. And even as kids, they didn't want to listen. Okay, so when you become an adult and you become successful and you recognize you're the creme de la creme, you're one of the elite, one of the few in the world who can do it, and on top of it all, you're getting paid an exorbitant amount of dollars to do it, not to mention the acclaim, the allure, the adrenaline rush that you get when you step out on that field, et cetera, et cetera. It's a hard thing for somebody to walk away from.
And there's many other things he can do. And I know, RC, we don't understand, we don't get, but when have we been in a situation, present day, with someone with this type of concussion history and the knowledge we have on CTE? We've seen guys taking their lives over